How do I manage negative thoughts when trying to conceive? If you have ever had negative thoughts like, I will never get pregnant, my body isn't doing what it's supposed to do, I'm weak, I'm not doing enough, I'm never getting pregnant, then you are not alone. These thoughts cross everyone's mind when they are trying to conceive. What I'm going to invite you today to do is to change the way we are perceiving the world, the way we are perceiving the circumstances that are happening to us, to see if we can change the negative thoughts in our brain. The first thing that we need to do is to recognize those negative thoughts that so many times are thought distortions. They are not a reality. Our minds have a very clever and persistent way of convincing us that something that isn't really true. So these inaccurate thoughts are going to reinforce negative thinking. So we need to recognize them very early on. One of the ways of recognizing distorted thoughts is by noticing the words we are using when we are thinking or believing something. One of the things that you're going to notice is black and white thinking. If you're going to see everything as one way or another, black and white, if you start by using words like this always happens to me or never happens to me, always and never are words that immediately identify this black and white thinking. A second thing that you might notice that might give you an indication that is a thought distortion is personalizing, assuming the blame for everything that is happening to you, when in fact there's lots of reasons why infertility is happening to you. There may be lots of reasons why miscarriage happened to you. There may be lots of reasons why this cycle didn't work. So if you notice yourself blaming yourself for what is happening, again, is likely a thought distortion. The third aspect that you're going to pay attention to is filter thinking. And here is when we only choose to see the negative side of the situation and we're not looking at the overall picture. And the fourth thing that you're going to notice is catastrophizing, if you're always considering the worst possible scenario. So start paying attention to your thoughts, and if you notice any of these 4 points, it's likely that that is a distorted thought. Once you notice that distorted thought, you're going to challenge it, because our brain does it very easily to come to those conclusions. So we're going to challenge that thought, and we're going to think about all the evidence that does support the thought, but we're also going to think about all the evidence that refutes the thought. And it might be that this time your cycle is going to be positive because you're using different medications, or you're having a different diet, or you're under a different clinic. So think about all the reasons why it's going to work, all the evidence that refutes your thought. Secondly, I would say you need to release the judgment. Allow yourself to observe the thoughts that come in your mind, but not judge them. Just tell your brain, thank you for sharing. And then just choose a more appropriate thought. And I would say the last bit of advice to manage negative thinking is to start practicing gratitude. That can create such a big impact in your levels of positivity and happiness. It can really start changing the way our brainwaves work. So start by noticing things in your life that you are grateful for. Focuses on the things that you are able to do. Focus on your strengths, and the world around you, your perception of what is happening around you will change.